Hello my dear friends, you're in the Military Summary channel. On this video we're going to discuss the most important events that took place during the previous 12 hours. We have lots of very interesting updates, so let's start. And first let's talk about the conflict on the territory of Ukraine. But before we start, just a quick announcement. I'm going on vacation from July 29th, so tomorrow, to August 10th, and I won't be publishing any videos during this time. So let's return back to Ukraine and let's talk once again about the President of Ukraine, Zelensky. Yesterday he was on the territory of the United Kingdom, and if you remember, yesterday Zelensky stated that he wanted to build a plant. He wanted to build a very big plant on the territory of the United Kingdom. I want to build a big drone factory in the United Kingdom, and yesterday he was talking about this on this matter with the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Andy Burnham, and this is the moment when they met each other aboard the aircraft carrier Queen Elizabeth in Portsmouth, and most likely they were talking about this drone factory. Later, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom said that we're providing new homegrown jamming technology to protect Ukrainian drones. It will help them to hit their targets and help save Ukrainian lives. It is also shows the kind of innovation our industries can deliver together. So this is a very important situation. After this meeting, the President of Ukraine, Zelensky, came to Washington, where he is scheduled to have a meeting with the President of the United States of America at 9 a.m. of the Washington Times. And most likely during this meeting, Zelensky and the President of the United States of America will discuss, first of all, Patriot missiles, additional support, and of course they will discuss additional sanctions against Russia. Members of the US Senate will meet with Vladimir Zelensky in Washington late on July 28th. According to the news agency sources, all US senators have been invited to the meeting. Earlier, the outlet reported that the first vote on a bill to tighten US sanctions against Russia is also scheduled for July 28 in the US Senate. So Zelensky came for additional military, financial support, and with the purpose to tighten sanctions against Russia. And of course, Zelensky wanted these meetings and this trip to be probably reinforced with additional military victories and media pictures of the conflict on the territory of Ukraine. So that is why during the night between the 27th and the 28th of July of 2026, the Ukrainians attacked deep inside of the territory of Russia using hundreds of drones. Yesterday in the evening, pro-Ukrainian sources reported that around 340 Ukrainian drones were recorded over the territory of the Russian Federation. And this morning, the Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation reported that during the overnight battle, the Russians destroyed and intercepted 356 Ukrainian drones. So, summarizing everything, we can say that the Ukraine attack was repelled by the Russian side, and Zelensky hasn't managed to achieve the media picture he wanted during the meeting and during his travel between the United Kingdom and the United States of America. And the Ukrainians were trying to create this picture, this media picture, with attack in the direction of the capital of the Russian Federation, the city of Moscow. And during the night and this morning, we received lots of videos where we can see Ukrainian drones flying over the Moscow's agglomeration in the direction of the central part of the capital of Russia. The Ukrainians once again used several hundreds of drones to attack the territory of Russia, but once again, the Russians managed to jam, to intercept, and to destroy Ukrainians' drones. And for example, in this video, we can see how exactly the battle for the city of Moscow was taking place. The Ukrainians once again were trying to attack the biggest warehouse on the territory of Russia, which is located in the southern parts of the Moscow's agglomeration. And in this video, we can see a Ukrainian drone that was intercepted right over the roof of this facility. So the Ukrainians were trying to destroy this biggest warehouse on the territory of Russia, but the Russians managed to protect this facility. And of course, despite the fact that the Russians managed to protect this facility, the Ukrainians managed to damage a facility nearby. So this facility, this warehouse, was damaged by the Ukrainian side, and during the night we received lots of videos on this matter. So the Ukrainians most likely were trying to hit this facility, but the Russians jammed or intercepted, and drones began falling on the territory of this building. So this is the situation. For example, in this video we can see civilians moving along the M2 road in the northern direction toward the central part of the capital, and here we have a black smoke over this territory. So once again, the Russians managed to repel this attack, and the Ukrainians haven't managed to achieve the expected results But from the other side, as we discussed yesterday, most likely the Russians will retaliate, and most likely during the upcoming night between the 28th and 29th, or 29th and the 30th of July of 2026, the Russians will strike back. Another important update from Russia: Putin signed a decree that the authorized strength of the Russian armed forces will increase to 2,426,000 personnel effective August 1st. The number of military personnel will increase by 25,000, reaching 1,535,000. And most likely the Russians will use these forces also on the territory of Ukraine during the special military operation. Now let's talk about the situation on the ground. We have lots of very interesting updates. During the night between the 28th and the 27th and the 28th of July of 2026, the Russians also attacked the territory of Ukraine using 131 drones, and the Russians were using drones mainly to attack the logistics and energy infrastructure of Ukraine. During the night, lots of explosions were recorded, and during the evening through the Odessa region, the Russians continued attacking vessels and dry carriers in the area of the city of Mykolaiv, and this video was published by pro-Russian sources. And in this video we can see vessels and some platforms on the territory of southern Buk, and the Russians were attacking these facilities with drones, and as a result of attack, as you can see, several vessels were badly damaged. Furthermore, the Russians attacked logistics of Ukraine to the west of the cities of Dnipro and Zaporozhye, and during the night lots of locomotives were destroyed, and we have videos on this matter. For example, yesterday at 8 p.m. the Russians attacked a locomotive to the west of the city of Dnipro, and during the same period of time the Russians destroyed another locomotive in the area of the settlement of Bozhedarovka, and we also have pictures and videos on this matter. Now let's discuss the situation on the ground. We have lots of very interesting updates, and first let's talk about the Kharkiv direction. And first let's talk about the city of Bilyi Kolodiaz. As you can see, the map has been adjusted. This is the situation by the end of the 27th of July, and this is the situation by the end of the 28th of July. Pro-Russian sources adjusted the eastern parts of the settlement of Bilyi Kolodiaz, and these are the changes on the ground. But the most important thing is this video that was published by pro-Russian sources, and here we have a Russian soldier that was waving with the Russian flag right exactly at this point. But as you can see, we haven't adjusted the map in this area because according to information we have, this video was generated with AI. The thing is that, as you can see, there is a Russian soldier. This is the Russian soldier, and this Russian soldier is located between trees. And if we compare these trees with these soldiers, then this means that this soldier must be 3 meters tall. So obviously it's impossible. It's impossible to be 3 meters tall. Maybe the Russians have such soldiers in their army, but I don't think that 3 meters tall soldier was located to the east of the city of Bilyi Kolodiaz. So that is why there are lots of discussions on this matter, that the Russians used AI generated video to confirm Russian control over the eastern parts of the settlement of Bilyi Kolodiaz, but later the group of forces north reported that despite different rumors and talks, the battle for Bilyi Kolodiaz continues, and the video with the Russian soldier was published not by the group of forces north, though that is why we see that this video has nothing common, nothing related to the Russia's official channels and authorities. Anyway, these days we might receive lots of videos like this. Now let's move further and let's discuss the situation in the Sloviansk direction and Kramatorsk as well. During the previous 12 hours, additional changes were recorded to the east of the city of Kramatorsk and to the east of the city of Sloviansk, and these are the changes on the ground around the settlement of Mykolaiv. This is the end of the 27th of July, and this is already the beginning of the 28th of July. The Russians established strong control over these tree lines and these forests, and furthermore, first sabotage and reconnaissance groups of the armed forces of the Russian Federation began entering the city of Mykolaiv, more precisely its residential area, to the southeast and the east of the city. So first Russians were recorded through these territories, which means that the battle for the Mykolaiv stronghold has begun. As for the eastern parts of the city of Kramatorsk, the Russians right now are trying to improve their positions through this dense network of the fortifications. As you can see, there are lots of strongholds, and the Russians are trying to take all these strongholds under complete control. And telling the truth, this is the most fortified territory to the east of the city of Kramatorsk, and according to these changes, we see that the Russians are about to take these strongholds under complete control. As for the Drushkovka direction, during the previous 12 hours, additional changes were recorded also through this territory. If you remember, just yesterday we received a report that Russians captured the settlement of Torske, but without proofs. Today, pro-Russian sources published this video where we can see how exactly the battle for the village was taking place, and when talking about this video, obviously the soldiers weren't generated with AI, real soldiers, real sizes, and so on, and there are three flags raised in the city, and these flags were geolocated. So now we have both the report of the Minister of Defense and video confirming control over the territory, so that is why we have no doubts that the Russians have strong control over the settlement. Furthermore, the Russians began tightening the news and began reducing the gap between these two pincers in the area of Torske and Konstantinovka, and now the Russians began offensive operation with the purpose to maintain the line and to cut these pockets and to establish complete control over the territory, and then to begin offensive operation in the direction of Drushkovka from the south. And these are the changes on the ground between the dates. This information was provided by neutral and pro-Russian sources. As for the Dobropillia direction, during the previous probably 100 hours, significant changes on the ground have been recorded. Almost every single day we adjust the map in the Russian favor, and these are the changes between the dates, and during the previous 12 hours additional changes were recorded. The Russians right now are finishing the encirclement of Ukrainians on the territory of Chernigovka. The Russians continue advancing further along TO 514 road from the city of Dobropillia in the direction of the city of Kramatorsk, and the Russians continue encircling and tightening the news around the settlement of Sergeyevka by advancing along M30 road and along railways between the cities of Pokrovsk and Pavlohrad. So the Russians accelerate their Pavlohrad-Dnipro offensive operation, and in coming days most likely the Russians will be able to breach Ukraine's defenses in this area, and they will be able to answer the Dnipro operational space. As for the Zaporozhye direction, during the previous 12 hours, no significant changes were recorded. The Russians were bombing and attacking positions of the armed forces of Ukraine using aviation, trying to soften defenses before the beginning of a major battle. And that's it for the short video. The Military Summary channel reminds we condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for your watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye-bye.